Bible prophecy is active and unfolding daily. Zechariah 12, Isaiah 17, Psalm 83, Ezekiel 38. Here is what the LameStream Media is not telling you. Shalom, my friends. Welcome to this week's newscast. From the U.S. State Department spokesperson Heather Nauert announced on Friday, quote, "In May, the United States plans to open a new U.S. embassy in Jerusalem. The opening will coincide with Israel's 70th anniversary. The embassy will initially be located in the Arnona neighborhood in a modern building that now houses consular operations of U.S. Consulate General Jerusalem." Close quote. Then from the White House, President Donald Trump also spoke on Friday, saying, quote, "We officially recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. I put the word out saying that I'm going to do it, and I was hit by more countries and more pressure and more people calling, begging me, don't do it." But I said, we have to do it. It's the right thing to do, close quote. Then from the Jerusalem Post, Israeli Deputy Foreign Minister Tzipi Hatovli told the Conference of Presidents of Major American Jewish Organizations last week that Israel was currently in discussion with 10 other countries about moving their embassies to Jerusalem. Big changes going on in the world, my friends. Now, last Thursday, Brad Scott couldn't make it. He and his wife, Carol, were vacationing all that week, celebrating their wedding anniversary. They had to travel back home earlier than expected due to some storms that were brewing and forcing some changes in their itinerary. So, in effect, they were on the road all day and evening that Thursday, driving while we were live. I tried to get a hold of Brad before I sat down in front of the camera today, but he's still out and about. So I'm not sure if he'll be on this Thursday or not. It's possible. I'm also not sure if I'll be sleeping past 7. I don't think so. I might be getting up around 6 p.m. And then, if Brad's available, surprise, he'll be there. If not, surprise, it'll be me and caregiver. If I sleep past 7, surprise, I'll be on a little later that night doing the stealth. We'll just have to wait and see. I like living that way. Now, last Wednesday, my friends, Reverend Billy Graham went home to paradise. Pastor Paul Begley had a prophetic dream years ago, telling him that when Billy Graham went home, the time for the rapture would be upon us. I have a link for you that will take you right to the spot where he tells that story. Now, personally, I don't hold a lot of stock in anyone's dreams, unless they've had some kind of big record of accuracy, which I've never seen. But nonetheless, I'm full of hope, and I'll jump up and down for joy concerning anything that says we're going home tonight. Turning to wars and rumors of wars. On Tuesday, February 20th, from the New York Times, the Syrian government, seizing on a chance to reclaim territory lost in its ever-escalating civil war, loosed a devastating bombardment on a rebel-held Damascus suburb, killing at least 200 people, many of them children. Residents and emergency medical workers in eastern Ghouta posted a cascade of heart-rending images. A family with 5 children pulled dead from the rubble. Families huddled in basements and dugout shelters. An ambulance crew loading a patient, then fleeing moments before an explosion hits. The government's move to support the Kurds threatened to unravel months of efforts by Russia, Turkey, and Iran to de-escalate the conflict, if that's what they're actually doing. But it also signaled a new phase of the war with a greater potential for military engagements between other countries with a stake in the outcome, among them Turkey, Iran, and the United States. Then on Sunday, February 25th, from the Washington Post, Syrian government forces defied a new UN Security Council resolution calling for a ceasefire by launching a ground offensive and airstrikes, including at least 1 bomb laden with chlorine against the rebel-held eastern Ghouta suburb of Damascus. Warplanes and artillery pounded the area, killing at least 22. Turning to our Intifada update, Thursday, February 22nd, from the Times of Israel, a U.S. delegation visiting Ramallah in the West Bank that included New York City Council members and civil society groups had to be rescued by policemen after being attacked with eggs by M&M protesters. Quote, "America is the head of the snake," and "Americans are not welcome in Palestine," the protesters chanted. And now turning to our review of last week's news. The United States plans to open a new U.S. embassy in Jerusalem in May, and Israel is currently in discussion with 10 other countries about moving their embassies to Jerusalem. The Syrian government loosed a devastating bombardment on a rebel-held Damascus suburb, killing at least 200 people, many of them children, and then defied the UN Security Council resolution by launching a ground offensive and airstrikes, including at least 1 bomb laden with chlorine against the rebel-held eastern Ghouta suburb of Damascus, and a U.S. delegation visiting Ramallah in the West Bank had to be rescued by policemen after being attacked with eggs by M&M protesters. And that, my friends, is what the LameStream Media is not telling you. Abba willing, I'll see you here again next week. Until then, keep your wicks trimmed and keep your lamps burning bright. Shalom, my friends.
Crowded rooms, I need more space than I consume. Enough is time alone with you, underneath a naked moon, sharing confidential moods and making chatter. Mockingbird nocturnal sings notations of eternal things, entering the quantum breeze, flying not for want of wings. He lights his gaze on you and me, simply because we matter.